my presentation is called Whose Life Is It Anyways? As we previously heard, Jack Kevorkian assisted many different medical assisted suicides. So I'm going to provide a scenario. You're in your deathbed. You have Jacob's disease. You suffer from dementia. You're in pain. You're completely paralyzed from your entire body. You have a feeding tube connected to your body that feeds you every single day. And you have 12 months to live, and not only that, you may be paralyzed, you can't move, but you'll feel the shock of your nerves burning up in your skin. So you have 12 months to live in pain. Would you choose that or death by dignity? We didn't buy our life. We were born into the life that we were given with unexpected changes. We don't know what's going to happen in our life. We don't know what is going to happen, whether we're going to live peacefully, not have any problems, or whether we're going to have a lot of obstacles in our life. I am hoping to be a future doctor, and a lot of controversial medical fields, controversies that are in the medical field interest me because it's because it goes against my religion or my faith, and then it's between the person, and every individual has the right to choose their way of living and if they want to pass on. So I know you guys probably have your opinion about medically assisted suicide, but I'm here to explain to you guys and inform you guys of two different cases. One in the United States that was performed, and then I will introduce the last one that was a medically assisted suicide in Switzerland. But first, I'm going to talk about Dr. Jack Kevorkian, or known as Dr. Death. The lack of support in our community in the United States forces people to go to a foreign nation to go and get medically assisted suicide because it's illegal here. It's only legal in 4 different states, which is Vermont, Oregon, Washington, and Montana. Here's Dr. Kevorkian. He assisted in 131 deaths, medically assisted deaths, and he died at the age of 83 because of severe kidney problems and pneumonia. He believed that everyone had a choice because if it's their choice to live or to die, it's not your life, it's theirs. You don't know what pain they go through day to day. And like I said, there's only 4 states that have it, and Washington passed an act that calls it death by dignity. So you're going to die with your own dignity and with your own pride because you choose the time that you're going to die, and you're going to choose to die less painful than the way that you would die if you were severely ill. And not only in the United States, only 4 states passed it, but you have to get 3 different doctors to say that you're terminally ill, and you can't just commit suicide just because you want to commit suicide. It makes it it makes it harder, and not only that, but it charges the doctors for an 8-year felony at second-degree manslaughter. Now on to my second point. It's Terri Schiavo. She's an American, and she was bulimic for many years, but she wasn't diagnosed in time and treated, so she fell into complete paralysis. And here she is. Here's before she completely was in paralysis. Pretty much when the autopsy was finally performed, her brain weighed half of a normal human brain. She had to be given by a feeding tube, and this is her last 15. She was like this for 15 years in a feeding tube. She didn't think. She completely was she was a vegetable. So her family sued her husband because he wanted to take the plug out because he believed that she was suffering more by living instead of passing away peacefully. So I believe that the spouse should have the right to the right to have them pass away to a better life, instead of the family sued him for 15 years while she was suffering until March 3rd, 2011, when she finally passed on. On to my final point is Craig Hewitt. He's an American who had suffered from ALS. He was completely paralyzed. He slowly began to lose movement of his body. So he had to get that inside so he was able to breathe. And he went to Switzerland because no doctor would sign the permission for him to get here a medically assisted suicide. So he went to Switzerland where it is legal by a physician. And he died in 2006, and to the last breath for knowledge and freedom, because he said a lot of people disagree and say, you're not God, you're not supposed to decide when you're going to die. But he says, this machine is making me live. If I didn't have the technology, I would have died a long time ago by God's fate. But this is playing God. So if we're allowed to give women the right to get an abortion because it's pro-choice, and the baby has no thought, Of course, it's a fetus and it has no thought, but this is a human being. He's lived a life and he's enjoyed his life, and he says it in the video that I'm going to show next. He's lived a life, and he believes that why can't I be given the choice? If in America we're given the freedom to do whatever we want, we can have handguns at a very young age. Why can't he choose when he wants to pass on? It's his life. The movie's called Suicide Tourist, and it's the last few moments, and instead of getting injected like Jack Kevorkian, they make him take a sip of medicine. He wanted to play Beethoven while he was passing on. That's his wife. He went to Switzerland with her. To conclude today, since we're in the land that we're given the right to pursue happiness, that as it says so in the Constitution, if his happiness was not to die in torture, then I believe we should give him the right, because medically assisted suicide is not a federal problem, so each state gets to decide. But if we're giving everyone the right in Michigan, a 12-year-old can have a handgun as long as he has no felonies. Why can't we give him the right to choose when he wants to pass on? And before you gather up your opinions, just remember, whose life is it anyways? Everyone has their own choice. If you don't want to pass on, that's him, but it's his belief. Today I talked about Jack Kevorkian, the medically assisted suicide doctor who assisted 131 deaths. I talked about Terry Schiavio and the 15 years of suffering that she had endured, and Craig Ehret, the hero that took the reign of his own life. Thank you.